Well, he couldn't do this shit for you, so fuck him.
I should probably get Audacity up and running, shouldn't I?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I have something possibly planned for next week, but it depends on how fast shipping can get here.
Okay.
So. But I see we're live, so I don't want to say it. But everyone's got a gimmick except me, so I figured we might have some fun.
Better not be a goddamn puppet.
It's not a puppet. It might possibly be a character, though. But not a puppet. Those things are expensive.
So did you make your Twitter handle after Rockstar Spud? Are you that big of a Rockstar Spud fan that you had to?
No, not one bit. I had never heard of the Twitter handle. Actually, is from like 2008, so I got in real early on that shit. So that's the only reason. That's the only reason why it was available at the time. But it was something that I used to actually be in a band, so a shitty band. Oh, yeah. So that's where it comes from. It just kind of stuck.
Interesting.
Nobody calls me or anything like that. That would be stupid.
What's that?
And no one calls me or anything like that. It's just when I was signing up for Twitter, I was like, I need something, and I don't want to use my real name, so we'll go with this.
So Troy's not your real name.
Oh, well, it is. I meant my full name. Thank you, Dayquil, for this episode.
What?
Thanks to Dayquil for this episode.
Yeah, you gotta. I got like a kind of a sore throaty thing going on, so this will be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Let's make sure, but I don't think.
This is going to be a very sensual episode of the Rundown. Coming live into your ears.
Is that that sexy radio voice you're gonna do for an entire show?
I'm
reflecting off of.
Is it a UFO?
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck that is. Oh, it's the light on the house across the street. That's what it is.
Oh.
All right, so it's not a reflection. It's an actual light outside.
I'll tell him to turn that shit off.
All right.
Trying to make a podcast over here.
All right, let's start, I guess.
All right.
This is going to be a very low-key episode.
It's going to be very, very relaxed.
All right. Episode 190. And where the hell's my mouse cursor? 3, 2, 1, record. This week's episode of The Rundown is brought to you by Viper Party Planners. Be the life of the party with Viper Party Planners. Our certified experts will teach you how to tell jokes that absolutely won't go over. And then, later in the evening, how to beat the crap out of your party guests. Viper Party Planners, your #1 authority on tearing the house down.
Pretty sure that was formerly known as Stone Cold Steve Austin Party Planners. Oh, I'm sorry. That was just how to beat up your wife. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to start every episode off with a domestic violence joke.
You wouldn't be the first. So, NXT is reportedly moving away from being a true training ground and instead bringing in top indie prospects and grooming them for WWE. Does this mean no more football players who want to be wrestlers? Mojo Rawley.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I guess they're going to be the new ROH.
Oh, there's some rumors about them thinking about poaching ROH talent when their contracts are up.
They already got half of their champions, so.
Maybe we'll get some Samoa Joe. There's been rumors about the Briscoes. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
I don't think the Briscoes can last backstage very long. Or the Bucks, for that matter, either. You're like, Booker T. So 1 second, what the hell? Them Bucks didn't shake my hand. Shucky ducky.
Shucky ducky.
Shucky ducky.
Theme song! My throat kind of hurts. That's all right. Guaranteed to tell 100% funnier jokes than Randy Orton. It's episode 190 of The Rundown. My name is Adam. I'm your host, and it is Thursday, March 12th, 2015. Joining me this week, Troy is here.
Yeah, coming live all over your phone. I mean, from your phone.
Don't get it in the headphone jack, because then you can't plug the headphones in. And anyway,
Randy Orton heavy so far in the episode.
Well, he did a lot of shit on Raw.
That was boy, it was so awkward. It wasn't. It wasn't even like he just laid it on way too thick, and it was like, yeah, we all know what's coming. And all it did was make Seth Rollins look like an idiot, because he's the only one who's just like, yeah,
come
he's
on,
just joking. That's just what he is.
My face.
Shucks. No.
This is going to be an interesting episode this week, because neither of us are feeling very well, and there's only two of us, and so God knows what's going to happen over the next hour or so. But maybe it'll be another short episode like last week, and then we'll get to go to bed.
Yeah, we're actually already done. Thanks for tuning in.
That does it for the rundown. So why don't we start with Raw and this voicemail here.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Rundown podcast, well, mostly gentlemen, and then sometimes Josh, but I wanted to call this week to talk about Monday Night Raw, exclusively talk about this week's episode of Raw. First, to get the bad out of the way, I need to talk about Sting, and I need to discuss his little vignette where he, quote-unquote, spoke. The guy who spoke, not Steve Borden. Nope, not Steve Borden. I don't know if, maybe because WWE fans have never seen Sting, if they've never seen WCW, maybe like the little kids out there. But why wouldn't you just use Steve Borden's real voice? I don't understand that. Not even his words. Like, those that was completely written, and that was not something that Steve Borden would have ever said. So I'm not too, keen on that. I don't understand that. And the other thing about Raw, I was a big fan last week of Axelmania. Very big fan of Axelmania still. I think Axelmania is running wild. I think it's taking over the nation. And I hope they didn't kill it. And I know it's a joke, but when he was in the Accolade, I don't, maybe he still comes out and still says, oh, I'm Curtis Axel, and I've been in the Rumble for 72 days. But it seems like they kind of killed it off last week, so I guess we'll have to stay. On to the good portions of Raw. The Undertaker, that whole setup, I mean, listen, we all criticize, and the bottom line is, at the end of the day, every year we all mark out. Because that segment, even though he was not on Raw, that segment when he set the rocking chair on fire, I thought was masterful. Absolutely amazing. I'm a mark for the lightning and the smoke coming out of the urn. And did you hear the crowd reaction when the smoke started pouring out of the urn or the lightning started coming on the big screen? I mean, that crowd was just crazy, and they're going to go crazy when they see him at WrestleMania. And also, speaking of going crazy at WrestleMania, I personally love how Randy Orton systematically destroyed Seth Rollins on Monday night. He methodically beat the living piss out of him, and the RKO through the table was amazing. So if you guys want to talk about that, that'd be great. If not, well, screw you. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. All right, talk to you later.
All right, first note. Yes, that was Steve Borden's actual voice. The voice was altered. The promo apparently inspired by the Black Scorpion gimmick from WCW, because why not bring that back? But yeah, that was Steve Borden's voice. That was Sting's voice, just mechanically altered somehow. Of course, it was written. It's a WWE promo. Of course, it was written. But it was actually Sting.
No. That's not something that Sting would actually say. That's not something that the character would actually say. Yeah, he said it, so apparently it is something he would say. I think the first note on that should honestly be, you said that as if you had heard it before, yet you managed to let somebody pissing into a toilet get by a couple weeks ago.
Yes, as we have discussed now twice on this program, the toilet flushing voicemail was one that was sent in the middle of the show and had not been listened to in advance.
Right. Well, lesson learned on that one.
I am intrigued. I'm intrigued to see. I started talking to my soda bottle, not the microphone. I'm intrigued to see if we get a random voicemail in the middle of this episode.
You should for sure play it.
Of course, we always do.
Right.
2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago it was a toilet.
That's
or
right.
a bong, still not sure. Last week it was Bill DeMott.
There you go. So yeah, we'll take any call from Bill DeMott anytime, though, especially because it ups our quotient of faggot talk on here. Speaking of Axelmania, though,
Yes.
How long did you think that gimmick was going to go for? It's Axelmania. It only has a shelf life of another 2 weeks, and they didn't kill it because the guy has lost every single match he's had.
Every single match he's been in.
Yeah, so him being put in the accolade, that doesn't kill his momentum. He has no momentum.
And I can't remember if I said this last week or not, so I'm going to say it again. Here's what I want to have happen. I can't remember if I said this on the show last week or I thought of it since last week's show. I want Curtis Axel to get taken out on his way to the ring for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and then he can claim that he's been in the Royal Rumble for 63 days, 24 hours, and then that he's been in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal for 12 days and 7 hours, and etc.
I like that.
That's what I want.
There you go. He'll probably also botch the reading of that one too. That's another thing. Sidetracking a little bit on that.
Yeah.
How bad are the announcers lately with just pointing out people's botches? You know? Like to point out that Axel said we said hours instead of days. Oh, what an idiot! And then like even back to the Cesaro thing, when he had his kind of like shoot promo, it was like it's three ropes, not 4 sides of you. It's like maybe you shouldn't bury your talent all that much.
Yeah, but you forget this is the company that whenever there's a botch during a match, they replay it 4 times.
Numerous times.
Look how these guys fucked up.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, Lita almost broke her neck. Let's replay
Oh,
it 6 times.
Jeez, Jimmy Patrick didn't count the 3 count there. That's controversy. I don't know any of the refs' names.
Jimmy Patrick. You're combining 2 there. You're combining neither of which are still referees. Cat. You're combining Jimmy Corderas, who was the referee who crossed the picket line during the referee strike, if you remember that.
Okay. Yep.
And Neil, what the fuck is
Nick
that?
Patrick.
Nick Patrick, thank you.
That's the one. That's what I was thinking of. But you know what? I pretty much just came up with your next NXT champion's name. So
Jimmy Patrick. Speaking of NXT champions, on my career mode on WWE 2K15, Captain Disaster Maximus Wild won the NXT championship last night.
Oh yeah, did he beat who's champion on there? Neville.
Mm-hmm.
That
It was
must
a very
have
close match. I thought I was going to lose,
Ah.
and then I didn't.
This has been your WWE 2K15 moments with Adam.
Yeah. Sean says Sting's logo is a black scorpion, so that does make sense.
Technically white scorpion.
Now, hopefully, Sting will come out and do some crappy magic tricks, and then we'll get the true Black Scorpion experience.
There you go. Yeah, we definitely need him coming down from the Raptors, Blue Blazer style.
Black Scorpion Experience, by the way, is the name of my Pink Floyd cover band.
Oh, I like it.
What else on Raw? Okay, yeah. So Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, we talked about that. Can you methodically beat the piss out of someone?
Apparently, because it happened.
Yeah, that was for me a bit too choreographed. Like, I know that it's wrestling and I know that it's fake. What? But that to me was a bit too. Oh, he's just joking. Oh, Stephanie is sending Big Show and Kane home. Oh, huh.
Oh.
They're all by themselves.
Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a handicap match.
Yeah.
No.
Not to say that it wasn't fun as hell to watch.
Oh, it was, but again, I mean, we knew it was coming, and I think that they were smart enough to realize that everyone knows it's coming. Randy's not going to come back and just be like, "Hey, you took me over a couple of months so I could get my get a nose job." But,
my best friend that I've ever had.
Yeah, I also liked Orton forgetting for a moment that he's not in the Attitude Era by flipping off the camera, and then proceeding to
an emphatic statement that we can't actually show you on television.
And then remembering it's PG later by saying by completely censoring himself when he's talking to Rollins, like, "You think I would just forgive that poopy stuff that you did?" But
Remember, the guy who beats the shit out of someone else with a chair for 10 consecutive minutes is the face.
Yes, that's true. I did, however, like the fact that Orton finally got his revenge on that monitor.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing exploded. Like, it hit the ring apron and boom.
It was so much like he's like, "I am not going to make this mistake again. I'm going to make sure this thing, because it could hop back up here. I don't know."
Yes. So rest in peace, that monitor, in 1987 to 2015.
Oh man.
Speaking of another thing from Raw, douchebag faces. John Cena finally gets his way in his match at WrestleMania by douchebag superheroing all over Rusev's face.
Yeah.
Because, kids, remember, when you don't get your way, and there's a possibility that you won't get your way, the best way to ensure that you get your way is to beat the shit out of the guy who's keeping you from getting your way.
That's right.
Stop!
I have a little game I like to play called "Is he a face or is he a heel?" And you take something. Okay, so wrestler A puts wrestler B onto the ground and threatens to curb stomp his face in unless he gets his way. Wrestler C throws wrestler in a move that he won't let go until he gets his way. That sounds like they're both heels, but one was Seth Rollins trying to get the authority back, and the other was John Cena trying to get a title match. So this whole tweener thing is really kind of blurring the lines.
Yeah. I have said it time and time again. John Cena, douchebag superhero.
He also had a very...
And for what it's worth, why didn't Lana just break up the STF by clocking Cena with the United States Championship?
Yeah. Also, there was a ton of referees there, and they're just like, well, I guess, we're not going to try to get him off there or anything like that. Why would we do that? Do something, guys. What do you do? You're just standing there like, "No, John, don't do it, John. Just let him go." Yeah, for sure. Lana, you've got a belt in your hand. You've got a chair behind you. Just go up and kick him with balls. I don't care. Just do something. But I did enjoy the scumbag Cena look that he gave her at the end there, too. Again, face. But, all right. So, and then the other big thing from Raw, obviously, was the Undertaker thing, which I enjoyed, other than the fact that it was very obvious that chair was set up to get lit on fire. Yeah.
No, Bray Wyatt's rocking chair, which was previously destroyed by Dean Ambrose, but we won't talk about that, has always had a cookie sheet stapled to the bottom of it.
That's right. And remember, the Undertaker can resurrect people, so he resurrected the chair.
Yeah.
Put it back together again, and apparently added a little something to it. I was, however, very happy that Bray didn't look like he was shitting his pants.
Yeah, like he did for like half a second. When the belt first went off, he kind of went, oh, and fell over, but then he just started then he was laughing.
Yeah.
The laughing was fantastic.
Because the laughing is he's in character at that point. I mean, too often you see the bad guys are all like, I'm going to whoop your ass, I'm going to whoop your ass, and as soon as it goes, oh, shit, oh, fuck, he's coming. So, yeah, it was very, very nice to see a heel actually continue in his character and be like, yeah, this is what I want. I want this.
What else we got here? Stardust in the ladder match. Looks like they have one more person to announce for that match. Does that mean it's going to be Goldust?
If they're going to have 8, I would think that it have to be Goldust and Bryan, right? Because Bryan isn't announced for it yet, even though
he's not. Oh, okay.
No, he's not. So, which is really weird.
He's only been climbing the ladder and stealing the title like everybody else is in the match. So.
Exactly. Yeah, they've got. By the way, what's up?
Talking about that match. I read something earlier where Dolph Ziggler was doing an interview talking about restoring prestige to the Intercontinental title, and I have to say this is an interesting way of doing it. But I think it's working. It's interesting in the fact that they're restoring prestige to the title by having everyone fucking steal it from everyone.
Yeah.
But it's become such a thing now where I think it's actually working. I think it is. People are talking about it, and it's kind of bringing it kind of back to the forefront. They're going to have this ladder match at WrestleMania that's going to tear the fucking house down. Mm-hmm. So I think it's working.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how long it's going to go for. Obviously, after the belt is won at Mania, do you keep doing it? Do you keep having fun with it, or do you go back to your normal feuds? I guess my other only concern with it right now is who at this point walks out with the championship. I mean, if it turns out to be Bad News Barrett again, then it's a missed opportunity. But if it's somebody new, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with Stardust winning it, Harper. I mean, everyone in the match has won a championship before. I mean, Daniel Bryan, obviously, it's kind of a step down for him, but you've also got John Cena going for the U.S. belt, so they are for sure using former heavyweight champions to try to give a little bit more prestige to it than just Curtis Axel fighting Big E.
I like the idea of whoever wins the ladder match then feuding with Wade Barrett, because Wade can go through the whole thing about I was the champion, but I never actually got to be the champion because I never actually had my fucking title belt. So
yeah, this is probably the first time since Evil R-Truth that I've actually been interested in something he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's actually pretty funny on commentary.
How did they not notice 2 burlap sacks underneath the table?
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. It's kind of cartoonish, but I laughed. I thought it was funny. And I again though, I'm not sure why Stardust is in this match.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that point.
Yeah, I thought that for sure we were going to have Stardust versus Goldust. And, I mean, sure, throw Goldust
which is Sean's point on the side here. The Rhodes brothers will finally have their epic blow-off at WrestleMania, while 6 other guys are fighting, too.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you could still potentially turn around and have, Goldust take Cody out.
Yeah.
Pull him out of the match, but at this point, you've already announced 6 people. You stopped using your little outline with question mark characters in it, so you're kind of saying that the match is complete. But, again, what's going on with Daniel Bryan? I mean, he's not in a match. He hasn't elected to be in the Joe for the Giant, but apparently you can't do that anymore. So
just ask Big Show and Kane.
Just ask Big Show and Kane. I mean, they had to file paperwork for that before they could announce it.
What else we got here?
Speaking of them two, Orton needs to work on his jokes a little bit too. Are you the devil's favorite dumbass? Do you ever call him a dumbass?
Wiz Khalifa.
Oh my gosh.
And that's enough said about that.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't know we were getting a live show or a live concert in the middle of a show.
Can we talk about how his performance lasted 8 minutes and the 2 Divas matches combined lasted less than 5?
Yeah. That tells you all you need to know. He wasn't bad backstage. I didn't mind him. He wasn't a terrible actor in terms of what he had to do. But yeah, then all of a sudden he came out and started singing, and I fast forwarded through it.
That was the correct choice. I was watching live, so I couldn't do that.
Oh, See, that's your mistake.
Sean says they had to gimmick the chair so it would burn continuously, unlike that casket bracelet on fire, which lasted for about 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
They also have to show that Undertaker's magic is stronger than Bray Wyatt's magic. They went to different schools of magic, you see.
The Warrior Award.
I'm fine with it. I don't know who you're going to give it to next year.
Yeah, right. Going to Conor Mahalik. I am perfectly okay with that, and I will freely admit that video package still makes me tear up. Okay.
Moving on.
Uh,
I did have something.
Yeah.
The weird transition between matches to kind of set up the tag team feud and also
those three matches that were all in a row that just kind of flowed right into one another.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah, so then it was like, okay, I see what we're trying to do here. We're probably building towards a 3-team tag match instead of what I thought was going to be the 6-person intergender match, which I'm, I guess, okay with, but I don't really think that Fernando and Diego deserve a title shot, but whatever. But yeah, so we get like the women's match, then transitions into Cesaro and Tyson Kidd losing to the Usos, which then transitions to the Usos lose. I don't know. It was a lot of different shit going on at the same time. And then apparently we had, I think you put it on Twitter, talking about the Diego heel turn by letting his manager ass kicked.
Yeah. By throwing whichever it was into Torito and knocking Torito to the floor, and then rolling him up with a handful of tights.
It's also
nobody fucking commented on it.
Nobody said a word. It's also very funny to hear the announcers lose track of who's who in the match.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they never can tell which Uso is which, and then they can't. The two Los Matadores look different. You know who they are by their faces, and they're still just like one of the Matadores there with
for fuck it. But yeah, of course, Carmen Fernandiego get the title shot at Mania because the Usos had to go to the back of the line because they lost the rematch on Raw. Remember?
Oh yes, I forgot about that. And then the Ascension apparently is just not getting a title shot either. But they lost to the primetime players, so yeah, that's still a thing that happens.
Paul Heyman is amazing. That is all.
Yeah, that's right. The New Day was tucked in there too. They're the ones that got the win over Chicken and Swiss.
Yeah, that's what
it was. Yeah, let's just move on from there.
Sean says, The New Day and Los Matadores both won cleanly against the top 2 tag teams in the company. Now I totally believe they're legitimate contenders. Thanks, WWE. Exactly. Exactly.
I would believe the New Day is a legitimate contender, except for the fact that Xavier Woods yet again looks like he broke his leg. So after the match, he was limping yet again. So maybe he took that cast off a little too quickly.
Trying to remember the context here because I want to say this was the backstage Cena promo, but I can't remember. I just tweeted, if you had a stomach, it would be full of licorice-flavored jelly beans because those are disgusting. And I don't remember what I was talking about.
I can't place it either.
Anyway, why doesn't Lana just hit him with the belt? Congratulations, John. You just douchebagged your way into another one. #Raw, #be a star. And my favorite part of that whole bit is he locks Rusev in the STF and Rusev passes out. So he goes out he goes outside, gets a bottle of water, and just and that wakes him up. Because apparently that when you pass out from extreme pain, all you need is a little water on the back of your head.
Apparently. So I learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that Michael Cole still can't tell Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods apart? Because I learned that.
That was. See, I can understand the Usos because they look similar, they dress alike. But the New Day, yeah, they got the same pants, but is it racist? I don't know. Also, is it racist that R-Truth can't tell a difference between black people either? Apparently,
we talked about that last week with him. Continuously calling
that,
Byron Saxton, Jonathan Coachman.
Then he was calling him something else on this past episode.
I don't remember.
He's new. That's his new crazy stuff because he called Dean Ambrose Gene Ambrose, and then what else? I forget what he called Byron Saxton, but he called him something else. So But like I said, I was actually kind of interested in something that R-Truth has to do.
Yeah, Sean says, your tweet was surely in reference to Rusev saying God would spit on America's soul if it had one. Must I do everything around here? Yes, you must.
Yes. You know what else you could do? Show up on the show as a host.
No, Sean doesn't host anymore. He's a bitch.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there's that.
So Androfi the Giant, yet again looking like a big clusterfuck of superstars.
Of course.
Now that we've got Zack Ryder, Damian Mizdow also in there now, as well as pretty much everyone that goes to the SmackDown tapings.
I think Mizdow should win.
That would be great. It did wonders for Cesaro a year later. It's a slow burn on the Androfi the Giant.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I really like how Chicken and Swiss have come about. They started just as what seemed just like a random mashup because Heath Slater was out, and now they're the tag team champions.
Yeah,
and it was kind of a real organic thing, and I appreciate that.
I also really enjoyed their shirts. I don't think they're going to sell them, but their shirts
that says just professional.
No, now they had new ones on Raw, and it was Cesaro Switzerland.
Oh yeah.
Kid Canada, and on the back I think it just said Tag Team Champions. So
yeah, it's nice, it's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I just thought the ones that just said professional were just that was just fun for me.
Yeah, those are apparently they just have like a membership to Kinko's or something like that.
onehourtees.com. So earlier during the open we talked about NXT, and there's all these rumors flying around that these are going to start going after ROH guys once their ROH contracts are up. They're trying to snag Samoa Joe now that he's out of TNA. There was a rumor about the Briscoes, the former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, former World Champion, the Briscoes, who I would really not want to see in NXT because they annoyed the fuck out of me in ROH. And maybe it's just because I have a thing against stupid rednecks, but god damn, I couldn't stand them.
Yeah.
Now, if you may recall that there was this rumor a little while ago, maybe about a year and a half ago or so, May of 2013, that the WWE was looking to bring in the Briscoes, and then the kibosh got put on that when Jay Briscoe went on Twitter to tell everyone that he would beat the piss out of anyone who tried to teach his kids about gay marriage. So that kind of didn't happen then.
Yeah.
But now apparently this rumor is coming back around, and I'm still not for it.
Yeah, I don't really see it happening. Right now the majority of the people that are in NXT that were on the Indies were guys that love the business, and they're also guys that WWE can market. And I don't really see much markability in the Briscoes. Maybe Jay, but again, his mouth is going to get him in trouble. Mark, I don't know. I mean, unless they're going to do another kind of Wyatt family thing, but I mean, they did just lose their resident redneck now that Scott Dawson is now apparently an amateur wrestler. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see it. I mean, if they were going to sign any tag team from there right now, it would be the Bucks. I mean, that's
right. But I swear to God, I was the only one who didn't like the Briscoes when they were on fire in ROH a couple of years ago. But it's because they annoy the piss out of me. I cannot stand to watch their promos. I cannot stand to hear them talk. The matches to me were not enjoyable. No. And maybe that's just because I didn't like them as characters that much. But God, I could not stand the Briscoes.
I'm okay with Jay by himself, but as a tag team, no, they didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
There's this hot young indie talent working ROH right now called Matt Hardy. They could go ahead and hire him. He's a good one.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
Yeah. It's very similar to a guy that used to wrestle in the '90s. Now, I mean, we've heard a lot about Michael Bennett, who's really a very good talent and kind of
Yep.
underutilized in ROH.
Mike Bennett is fantastic. He's a great guy too. He's a very
Yeah.
and he's married to Maria, so if he joins, maybe we can get Maria back.
Yeah. And hey, if the rumor is true that the Bellas are not going to be returning after the contract,
Yay! Thanks. The only good thing Total Divas has ever done.
yeah, that would completely open it up because they are the reason why Maria is not playing anymore. So.
Oh, I would be so happy if they left. Sean says, "Do the Briscoe brothers still own that body shop?" Different Briscoes. Thankfully, different Briscoes. And moving on to this topic, since Bill DeMott got fired, they need to bring in more guys to make sure they still have some gay hating going on.
They still have JBL.
Bill DeMott resigned this week amid the swirling controversy that we briefly talked about last week, saying, "I deny the recent allegations made about me. However, to avoid any embarrassment or damage to the WWE, I've decided to step down from my role effective immediately." Can you really, and I know it's an innocent until proven guilty thing, but can you really deny the allegations when this many fucking people have all come out and said, yeah, that guy's a fuckstick?
Mm-hmm. See, here's the big thing, too. He is the only one saying that these things didn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened last week, and you guys are talking about Jericho saying I went through worse, and that's what you have to do. And that's the kind of old school mentality a lot of them have back there, and that is still kind of the problem backstage is, that's the whole thing. Everyone's got to shake everyone's hand afterwards and bullshit like that, and this is a lot of it too. It's like, JBL with his hazing stuff that he was able to get away with and still be employed. Michael Hayes with his bullshit and he's still employed somehow. Jerry Lawler touching kids. I mean, it's the way that this company works.
By the way, speaking of everybody needs to shake everybody's hand, not last weekend, but the weekend before, what was that, the 7th? Yeah, at the Lucky Pro Wrestling show. As I was driving the hour and a half home from the venue, I realized on my way out that I totally blew off Eddie Edwards.
Uh-oh.
And so, not that he's listening, and not that anybody who knows him is listening, but sorry, Eddie, that's my bad.
No. You didn't shake his hand, huh?
I didn't. I shook the hand of the person he was standing next to, and then turned around and walked out the door.
Nice.
I went, oh fuck, I'm an asshole. Okay.
Guess your weekends are going to be opening up soon.
So it's being reported that Matt Bloom, a.k.a. Albert, a.k.a. A-Train, a.k.a. Tensai, a.k.a. Lord Tensai, a.k.a. Ice-T, or Sweet Tea, what the fuck is going, a.k.a. Jason Alberts, is the interim head trainer for WWE now that Bill DeMott has left. It's been announced that there's a whole bunch of shit here. The feeling among developmental talent is somewhat celebratory. I know words. Shut your face. As DeMott was not well liked, shockingly. At this time, the only public statement WWE has made is their retweeting of his resignation announcement. More names have come out backing up claims of DeMott's abuse over the past week. Tara Calloway, who claimed over Twitter during a tryout 5 or 6 years ago, she witnessed DeMott using racist phrases and comments towards an unnamed wrestler of Middle Eastern ethnicity, and that DeMott turned to her and screamed at me from across the venue, asking why I was not in the seminar. I arrived 30 minutes before it was scheduled to end, and at the time did not have the funds. He continued to yell from across the venue at me as if I had done something wrong, but I got in there for the last bit and did it without warming up, without stretching, just so I wouldn't continue to be shouted at for no reason at all. So the guy's an asshole, basically.
Yeah. So this is something that I actually agree with. I think it was Bruce Hart that was talking about it. Why are these mid-card idiots getting such a prestigious position? I mean, you've got at your disposal Bret Hart, Lex Luger. You've got Ricky Steamboat if he doesn't kill any of the women wrestlers, and you've also got.
That's Jimmy Snuka you're thinking of.
That's right. Yes, I'm sorry. I got my 80s talent mixed up on there. You've also, you've got Matt Cross that you could bring in. You've got Drake Wirtz working down there as a referee instead of training people. And then on top of that, you got Bubba Ray Dudley, who looks like he could easily come back and start training. You've got all this other talent out there.
They have Adam Pearce in there a lot as a guest trainer.
Yeah.
So there's that as well. So there's any number of options that they can run.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate Albert as interim trainer, but for sure, I think that there's better talent out there. I mean, you've got Sarah Del Rey training the women, and look at how amazing the women are out there. You know, you've got Bill DeMott training the men, and also just bring the natural ability to it, and are amazing. We're seeing a lot of the same things that they were doing on the indies, so he might be able to polish them up a little bit, but I mean, he's not turning anybody that was bad into a good wrestler.
Yeah, Sean says Albert as head trainer, that'll go over well. I can't get my gimmick over. Do you have any suggestions? Well, have you tried getting a cock piercing? The more that I hear about this story, the more things start to make sense to me. Like playing 2K15, they have the My Career mode where you go through NXT, you're in the Performance Center, you're doing these training matches, and I always thought it was a glitch where Bill DeMott stands ringside for these matches as you kind of just build up your stats and stuff. And I always thought it was just a glitch when the game would have him yell, "Come on, faggot!" But now I realize it's not actually a glitch. That was regularly programmed into the game.
Let's see. That also does explain the mini game where you got to dodge bullets for him.
Mm-hmm.
Also would explain why you have to choose your nationality in there too.
Troy, how dare you suggest that their trainers are not qualified? Who are you to question Norman Smiley and the Road Dogg? Mm-hmm.
I guess it could be worse.
Sean's got a point.
That's true. I just figured they were going to hire the Great Khali as the head trainer.
Oh yeah, so everyone can just.
Big chop, big chop.
Can't walk. Here's how to eliminate yourself from a battle royal, and then inexplicably get back in the ring, because you're an idiot.
Has that guy's legs broken in half now?
Oh, hopefully.
I just assume that he got back on a plane to India, and as soon as he stepped off, they just shattered.
The full Psycho Sid.
Oh, I assume they were going to shatter like lights. I can't.
Like Kevin Nash's quad.
Oh my god. I'm just going to retire now.
You can't. I don't have anyone else to host with.
That's true. See, the Dayquil is wearing off now.
Well, we'll wrap it up then. Good news. One last note. Good news, Los Angeles. Don't fear. I know you had SummerSlam for 6 years, and now this year it's in Brooklyn. I know you're freaking out. Don't worry. Daddy's coming home next year.
For WWE in your house.
As of now, the early plan is to take SummerSlam back to Los Angeles in 2016. Because why not? I don't understand this obsession of having every single SummerSlam in Los Angeles.
Yeah. That one baffles me as well. I mean, it's not like you have every WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden, Yeah. Yeah, but apparently that's where it's hot and sunny. Oh, that's the only place
That's
in America.
Philadelphia. No, that's Philadelphia. It's
Yeah.
always sunny in Philadelphia.
That is true.
Sean says, I recently signed up for a Bill DeMott workshop only to find out I had actually wandered into the Bill DeBear workshop. Thank you, Sean. Hooray, puns.
That was like a PG joke.
Yeah.
That was like a Randy Orton joke.
About time. I did find a thing that WWE is actually having a house show in New Hampshire for the first time in God knows how many years. They're actually coming back to Manchester. I think since the SmackDown taping was the last time they were in Manchester. It was a SmackDown taping when CM Punk had long hair, and the very last bit was him running away from Kane and running out into the street and out and away from the arena. I just remember that happening. Because we were there for that. It was good. It was good.
Excellent.
It was real good. So on that note, since Troy's medication is wearing off, and I kind of have a cold myself, we're going to have a nice short episode this week.
Yeah.
That does it for the rundown for this Thursday, March the 12th, 2015. 208 days since Brock Lesnar won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
It says something that your co-hosts are on more often than Brock Lesnar is.
Liberty States returns this Saturday, March 14th, to the John McCarthy Elementary School in Peabody, Massachusetts. APW next Saturday, March 21st, with Wrestling for Reading 2. It's a fundraiser at the J.G. Whittier Middle School in Haverhill, Massachusetts. That's where it is. Lucky Pro Wrestling Homecoming at the Elks Lodge in Clinton, Massachusetts. The Saturday after that, on March 28th. Go to Liberty States Wrestling, Atlantic Pro Wrestling, and LuckyProWrestling.com, respectively, or just search for them on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Podcast. We live tweet Raw and NXT.
30 minutes late.
Shut up. That was not my fault. I was cooking supper. Send your feedback. Send your catchphrase suggestions for Troy. Send your fake sponsors. Or send us $50 and I'll say whatever you want to rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail. No random voicemails this week. I'm very disappointed. 206-202-6478. 206-20.
Angst.
Facebook.com/rundownwrestling. Like us. Tell your parents to like us. If you want to make a donation of the monetary variety, go to rundown.podomatic.com. Click the PayPal donate button on the right-hand side of the screen. Watch our archived episodes at youtube.com/rundownpodcast. And circle me on Google Plus at google.com/plus Adam Rundown Host. You can buy a chap book of poetry, which is up there, and I can't reach it right now, at tinyurl.com/distant horizons. Check out another great podcast, which I have to record my lines for the episode that's supposed to come out on Sunday. Sorry, Andy. At shadowvane.net. Search for us on iTunes, another Rundown Wrestling podcast. If you subscribe, you get the podcast delivered to you absolutely free each and every week for $0.00. If you cannot afford a monetary donation, donate a 5-star review, because that helps other people find us. We're also on Stitcher under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. Also free, but all you have to download is the Stitcher app to your iOS or Android device, and then you stream directly from their servers. Choose from your favorites of tens of thousands of podcasts. But why would you listen to anyone other than ours?
That's right. And if anyone out there has seen Andy, please let us know. We're very worried that his beard might have actually engulfed his face.
Sean says, a nice short episode. Do any of these episodes actually go long anymore? These podcasts cover less material than Kim Kardashian's G-string. But shut up, asshole. Sometimes it's slow news week.
That's right.
Like last week and this week.
And pretty much every week until WrestleMania comes around.
Yeah, it's a slow news season thanks to WrestleMania. Yeah. But what is next week? Is that going to be? Nope, we still got one more.
We still got one more until our previews.
Yeah.
Trust me, probably about 2 weeks after WrestleMania, we'll get probably about 13 wrestlers released, and we'll have some actual news to talk about.
You want the long episodes. You want the pre and post WrestleMania shows, because that's when we've got like 4 people and they go for 3 hours, and I have to cut them into 2 parts, which is a total pain in the ass.
Exactly, and not to mention the fact that if you really want a long episode, maybe pray for another wrestler to show his dick on TV. That kind of thing.
Show his dick on TV. That didn't
on TV. Sorry, on Twitter.
Or
TV. We're good with that too. Yeah, I mean.
Thanks to Tegan Brown for the logo. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks, kind of, to Sean on the side. Thanks to Troy.
Thank you.
And thanks to I Fight Dragons at ifightdragons.com for the theme song. Next week, God knows. Maybe next week there'll be something to talk about.
Yeah. Maybe next week we'll all be over our colds, and the episode will be a little bit better. Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll have multiple co-hosts.
Maybe, if Adam is out of jail from his pedophilia charges. I mean, what?
That went to a weird place. Told you this is going to be a weird show.
Yeah, please just send us money. That way we can say even funnier things.
And as always, Jacob, good night and good luck. Fun. Dong! Go to shadowvane.net. Troy still doesn't have a catchphrase. And tune in next week for another
exciting episode.
I wasn't going to say exciting. I was going to say something more than exciting. Something like a pants-droppingly fun episode.
Mm-hmm. It'll make your dick hard.
I think that's your catchphrase.
Works for me.
Of the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. Somebody found himself a catchphrase.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
The Rundown Wrestling Podcast. It'll make your
Make
dick
your dick
hard.
hard.
Right, Sean? Right. What was that, like 35? Nothing.
46. Hey, it was better than nothing.
Last week was only 50, so...
Yeah, I noticed that.
It's because there's no news and there's only two hosts, and so there's only two
Yeah.
hosts, the conversation doesn't flow quite so much.
Plus, there's nothing really going on TV right now, either. We're in that weird holding pattern on Raw and SmackDown where it's like, we know that these matches are going to happen. We know we got to keep building these feuds. We already kind of know what the card looks like.
What it is that it's that weird time on SmackDown and Raw when the writers go, we don't know how to book 7-week feuds.
Yeah.
We usually only have 4 weeks between pay-per-views.
Yeah. But, you know, there's just not enough of us in here to come up with enough storylines.
Yep.
I think we definitely need maybe like 15 more writers. Maybe bring back Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yes. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe try to get Zach Morris in here too. I don't know.
Mr. Belding?
He's actually a really big wrestling fan, so
I know he is.
I think he'd be okay with it.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Now that it's just me, who out there wants to show me their dick? Welcome to Adam's living room. As you can see on the TV, he's in the middle of watching pornography. If you wait long enough, maybe a cat will show up. But who knows? That's the joy of Adam's living room. Look at that. Beautiful upholstery. That was definitely imported from Sweden or France. And that cat tree? Oh, superb. That's the kind of feng shui that you don't get everywhere. Is anyone still out there? This one's for all the ladies. Yeah. Oh, you like that, don't you? Yeah. Make sure to join me next week when I do the entire show in this voice. Well, first we got to talk about DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. Maybe eventually they'll do wrestling shows on there. I don't know. But right now you can bet on UFC and whether Stone Cold Steve Austin will put out another podcast with Triple H or not. DraftKings.com. Sign up now and use the promo code Why Am I Still Doing This Podcast?
I assume you're talking about Sean's comment there on the side?
Yes, I am.
We did talk about nothing for 20 minutes. We always talk about nothing on this show. We didn't plug DDP Yoga. And I don't have a band, so there you go.
Yeah. I didn't even do my DDP yoga this week, so he'd be so upset with me if he could talk. But his vocal cords are messed up.
Say hello to the ginger.
Ooh.
Ginger.
I couldn't help but notice that you got a cute little kitty back there.
There's one asleep over there, too.
Oh, even better.
Troy, do you want to stroke my pussy?
Of course I do.
Good night, Google Plus. Good night, YouTube.
Good night.